Hi, everybody. It's Teacher Chaia, and I'm so excited to see you again. Today is Monday, and I'm going to do a little program for you today on birds, beaks, nests, and a little bit of math at the end. And if we're really quiet, we can hear birds singing right outside our doorstep. Today, I can hear the birds. Let me see if you can hear from where I am. They go away if a car drives. There it is. I heard a bird. I brought a bird just in case. Here's a bird. And this little bird sounds a little sharp, but it is one of the sounds that a bird actually makes. And it's a little bird whistle. And you can get bird whistles, parents, at home that also work with water, called water whistles. And you put a little water in it, and it makes the bird sound like it's warbling. So this is really cute to have a bird and a warbling bird with the water ones that you can order. So let me know if you have any questions. All right, we're gonna sing hello. Ready? Here we go. Hello, children. Hello, grown-ups. Welcome to our class today. Let's all sing each other's names, and then we'll sing and dance and play. Hi to the children, hi to the grown-ups, hi Teacher Chaia, and it rhymes with, say it out loud, papaya, yeah. Hi Teacher Michelle and Teacher Luck and Teacher Nessie and all our friends at Wonder School. Very nice. Can you stick your tongue out? And we're going to warm up our voice all the way from the inside from our vocal box here. That's birds have it too. That's how they sing. Now I have a question for you. So put your scientist hat back on here from last week, and I want you to tell me something. What do you think birds use to make their nest? If you notice, birds are standing on their hands, so they really don't use their hands very well for doing a nest. They can keep something still, but they can't pick it up. So what do they use? They use their beaks. This one has a very little beak, right? Their beaks. And their beaks are different shapes. And different shaped beaks can pick up different things, right? Well, I asked your grown-ups if you had at home some tweezers. These are tweezers. And grown-ups, you can get these at American Science online. They have a whole bag like this for kids, and they can pick things up and see how to do it, how well they pick up, and how they're not as good as our fingers. I have very fancy tweezers that I love that I use for things that require more precision. To be more precise means to be more specific or careful with things. And you can even use chopsticks. And you can use these for your task today. And the other kind of shape of a bill of a bird, many who live by the ocean, it's called a spoonbill. A spoonbill looks like a spoon, and it comes out of their mouth, and it's shaped like that, and it's a little harder, I would think, to pick up something like a stick. But it can be done, but it's good for scooping up the mud because nests are different depending on where birds live. So first of all, I want you to get out your tweezer, ready? Or your tweezer, and we're going to try and pick something up with that and with the spoon. Ready? So here we go. Teacher Chaia is going to try and pick up these yummy cereal balls. Ready? Okay. Oh, I can balance it. Let me see if I can actually pick it out. I can. So if the bird uses his or her beak, she can pick up something that's round like that, right? Now, let's see how a spoonbill would do it. A spoonbill would have to go dipping into it like that, so they can actually get more in their mouth if it's a bigger spoon. I don't, their bills are not very big, but they may be able to get a little more. And then they have to put things back in. And so that's a little tricky, because if we're going to try and make a nest, which, for example, this is looking like a nest because it has a woven bottom. It's all stuck together so it stays together really well. How is a spoonbill going to weave with their bills? That's really tricky, to move things like strands of wood and redwood needles and all those things together. It's really tricky, right? So we wouldn't probably expect them to be able to make a woven nest, but they would make a mud nest. So I'm going to show you a mud nest. I collected a mud nest near the lake in Mountain View. So I'm going to show you. Ready? Here we go. This is a mud nest. And if you were to feel it, it's pretty hard. So they get all the mud and they drip it a little bit at a time, over time. And they can put their beautiful egg in. Now, there is some shell of a real bird's egg here. I'm going to show it to you. And there's some sticks in the inside. Where'd it go? I just saw it. Here it is. Do you see? That's a real egg for a baby eggshell. And inside this little nest are some sticks. That's how it was. But we have to remember that we don't want it to be very sharp or pokey for the birds. So sometimes they will collect soft things. In our house, we have things like lint from our dryer, and birds take that if they see it, and they would use that. For example, in this nest, we have things that are very soft. Can you see? We have redwood needles that are soft, or not needles, just the part of the bark that's soft. And look, there's a little bit of lint. The birds used leaves, and they used sticks, and they held it together more on the bottom with sticks because that was heavier, so they can make the bottom stronger. And then look, there's more lint. So birds will use lint and sticks combined. They'll put it together. And look how big this mud nest is. This has sticks all around it. More like twigs, little twigs, right? And there's other things, other plants that are the gray kind and leaves. Do you know these little plants? Here's one right there. They're soft. They would put that on the inside, and they'll stay soft over time. Now this is good too because the egg won't be able to be seen from the outside, so it's a little protected. And also, what's nice is that it fits very softly and it can't roll out. Very cool, right? So a nest has to hold the baby eggs in, and then the babies have to fit in there too. So this is an example of a mud nest. A nest that's softer, that might be in a tree. I found one in a drawer that was open outside in my house, where we had left a drawer open and the mommy put the babies in there. And there was also a nest right as I walked into my house in the little light in front of my door of my house. That was really sweet. The mommy protects the babies. She always makes sure that they're safe. And the daddy and mommy look for food. And when people come by, we would come by, the mommy would fly away. And then she'd come back. So we have to be very respectful of their nests when we see them. Now, the children made this with me. Can you see? We made a pretend nest, and we used straws and string. We used sticks. We used thread. We used paper. And we made a beautiful nest. This was soft flowers, and we put the soft part in the middle, and we put the bigger pieces on the outside, just like our other one that you just saw. And we even found some soft little puffy things that we could use to make it even softer. We were joking, it's like a pillow for the baby birds, right? So I want you to take something at home that you can hold a nest. And we're going to pretend to make a nest, just like this one. Are you ready? Okay. So here I have my black base. We're going to put it on top of that, right? And we're going to see what can we do if we were a bird and we were flying around and we were looking for something. Well, the bird could find some sticks. So let's get some sticks. Ready? Get your tweezers. And then I'm going to get a stick. Ooh, that's a big one, right? Now we're going to tip this down so you can see it. Ooh, we're going to put this at the bottom. And the bird's going to say, oh boy, I need a round or a square shape. Do you think the bird's going to make a difference? It might make a difference. So you decide, do you want a square shape or a round one? Sticks are usually straight, so it's usually easier. How are we going to break this? Birds don't have scissors, so they're going to have to hold it tight with their beak and bend it on the ground, right? So that would be really tricky for a bird to do. I'm going to do it with my hands today, but can you imagine a bird breaking a stick? That's pretty tricky. All right, so we have a base growing here, but it's just one direction. We're not weaving it, are we? So we need something soft to go in between. This is raffia. Raffia is a strand of material that comes from plants, and I'm going to cut it. And you can cut ribbon at home, or you can cut paper towel, whatever you want. And what birds have to do with their beautiful beaks is they have to take one of these pieces and they have to try to weave it in between. How tricky is that? I'm going to see if you can see me better. So they have to put this around and tie it. So they have to step on the twig. I'm going to put it down again with their little feet. And then they'd have to wrap it around with their beak. Can you see? Let's see if you can see a little better. Yeah, here we go. They'd have to wrap it around while somebody, maybe they work together, has to weave it together, and then they can do that. Could you see how I made it go around? Can you try to do that with your tweezers? Can you hold the stick with one hand and make this go around and around? Go under the stick. It's not simple. It must take them a long time. So birds start their homework. That's funny. They do their homework a long time before they need to turn it in or get their homework done. They have to prepare way ahead. So they're busy working before the spring when they have their babies. Then they weave it around. Can you see? So these beaks that they have actually are very good for weaving things around. That part they can do. And now it makes it softer to the touch of the little birds too. Isn't that nice? All right. So then I'm going to show you some things we can use to make our nest soft in the middle. So pretend we had this as our square nest. What are we going to put in the middle to make it soft? Well, let's see what the bird can get. Ready? Okay, I'm going to go get some nice things from where I live. And where does she live? She says, I live where people live. So let's see what the people have outside that I can take. I have to ask if I were going in their house, but I don't go in their house. So, ready? We're going to get our tweezers and we're going to go get some lint. That's the part that's left over from the dryer when you dry your clothes. So, here's some lint. You see it? So, you're going to put some lint in that beautiful nest. And it's hard to spread it out. It's hard to make it flat. We need our feet. So, we're going to hold the feet and then spread it out. And now it's getting way softer and spread out so the babies can sleep so soundly, right? That worked. That's fun. Okay, now what else can we use? We can use leaves. Some dried leaves are soft. Not all of them, but some are soft. So a bird could carry those in her beak, right? That works. And put that in there too. Can you see? There you go. What else can we use? What else? Paper. Let's try some paper. Okay, so she gets some paper. Here's the bird. Pretend her beak is a little longer. And she's going to go get some paper. Soft paper. Oh, yeah. Now, she might be able to tear it up. Let's see. Yeah, she can tear it up, right? There you go. She steps on it and pulls it apart. Then she can put some paper in her nest. How convenient. She can even weave this in between the little pieces so she can put it right in the holes, right? All right, it's looking good, our nest, don't you think? What else can she use? Maybe some threads from people's clothes or something that was outside that was tying something together before. So she could use some ribbons and thread, yeah? All right, let's make a very cozy nest for this bird. Ooh, that looks really nice, don't you think? And it's pretty colored too. So now her bed is really soft. Well, I thought of one more thing that we could use. You know what it is? Birds have, what do they have on them to keep them warm? They don't have skin. What do they have? Feathers. So let's get some feathers, okay? Are you ready? Okay, I had some feathers in my closet because I keep them for teaching. But sometimes she can get feathers from other birds, especially the birds by the ocean. So she would fly over and get some feathers. Oh, that makes a very cozy nest. How lovely. Let's get more. Isn't that soft? Can you touch the feathers? And they're not heavy. Birds have very special bodies. In fact, they're so light because their bones are hollow. Their bones are hollow like a straw. So if you look inside the straw, it's got a hole in it, right? See it? That's like the bird's bones. And that's what enables them to fly. That's how come they can fly, because they're not heavy. If they were like wood, they would be heavy. But they are made of hollow bones, so they can fly, and they don't weigh very much. They can carry very much, but they don't have a lot. They don't weigh a lot. So we have all our beautiful feathers, and then we have to make sure it stays if the wind blows. Now, where is a bird going to put her nest? If she's a bird that lives in the trees, she would put it up in the tree. Now, why wouldn't she put it on the ground? Well, you know that if you're walking, you might not see something and step on it. So might an animal, or so might a person walking near her house. So birds don't usually put their houses on the ground like we do. Now, another thing we also have to know is that cats eat birds. It's just what they do. But we don't want a cat to eat our birds, our baby birds, right? So birds have to put their nest pretty high. But if you have a cat, I want to tell you and your family, make sure there's nothing the cat can climb onto that could reach a bird. So that's important. Now, if you want to make a bird's nest, you can also do something different. You can take something, a box, or something, in this case it's glass, and hang it up in the tree. And a bird can make a house inside it, so you're helping the birds. And all you need is a toilet paper tube, and you roll it in peanut butter. Oh, that's for bird food to have nearby. So you roll it in peanut butter, and then you roll it in bird seed, and you hang it with a string. It's very easy to make food for the birds if they're up in the trees. All right, I want to show you my beautiful nest. We're all done with our beautiful nest. Can you see it? Pretty cool, huh? So I hope you had fun making a bird's nest with me. And then we're going to go to the next thing. Are you ready? I'm going to stop for a minute and I'll be right back. Hi, everybody. Okay, I want to show you one more type of nest that children have made with me so you can see a different way of making one. This has bamboo in it, and it has raffia. And the children worked together actually, and they made a lot of ties all the way around. And they made more like a triangle nest, but the inside was soft, and we made it softer by putting some redwood needles and made a very cushy bed for the little birds. So I want you to also know different ways to make that. Now, I'm going to read you a little story, but first I want to show you the parts of a bird because they have a part of a body that is sometimes like ours and sometimes different. Ready? Okay, so here, we're going to see a little bit this way. Ready? Here is their tail, and then there is their wing. And just like us, we don't have a tail or a wing, do we? But they have a back. And that they have the nape. That's the part where their neck is. They don't have a very long neck, do they? Short, short, short. On top of their head, they have a crown. Not a king crown, but a crown. The top of their head is called a crown. They have a very lovely brow. They have a nice area like we have an eyebrow. And you know, for people, it helps us express our emotions and what we're feeling. So maybe birds use that to tell each other they're mad or they're happy or they're scared. I don't know, but we use our eyebrows for things like that. There's your bill. So bill and beak are what come out of the bird's mouth. And this is a special name. It's called a bib. Babies have bibs when they eat. This is in the same place, right in front of their mouth, but there's not. They can't take theirs off. And then this is their breast. And often it's a pretty color like robin red breast. And this is their side. And those are the parts of the bird. Now I'm going to show you some different birds. And we'll learn some names of the birds. So when you see a bird outside, you can say, I know that one. I know that one. All right, so there's different ones. And I'm not going to tell you what they're called yet. I'm just going to show you a picture. And then we will see when you learn inside the story what they are. Here's a little one. Do you know what that one is? There's a redhead one. There's a blue one. There's a black one. There's a little white with red and black, really pretty colors, don't you think? Can you see that one? And there's one that's very sweet, makes a warbly sound. I'll tell you about that. And there's a red all over, one all over. All right. Let's find out their names. It's called Let's Go Birding, You and Me. Birding means to look for birds. Let's go birding, you and me. I see through my binoculars a large bird. Do you see it too? It's hopping on the ground, watching for a worm. Here it is, the red one. It's gray back, darker head, and orange breast. Its yellow bill and broken white rings circling its eyes. Listen to its whistled song. I hear a horse like whinny too. Doo-doo, doo-doo. What is this large bird that we hear and see? What's it called? An American robin. It's called a robin, found by you and me. Quick, I see a little bird. Do you see it too? There it is, right there, the red one. He flies to feeder bush, then tree. Now he's sitting there. His upper chest, his head and rump are colored orange and red. His back and wings are mostly brown. The pale sides blurred with brownish streaks. Here you go, some pretty brown. See his short, fat cracker bill? They call that a cracker bill. He uses it for cracking seeds. We didn't talk about that. Listen to his whistling sounds. His warble ends with furry notes. What is this little bird that we hear and see cracking those nuts? It's a house finch found by you and me. Quick, I see a small bird. Do you see him too? Here he is. He's sitting in that tree beside a female, a ladybird. She is drab, not colorful, but he's very colorful with a dark bill, and a dark bill and bib of black. See the gray crown on his head right there? His nape or back of neck is rusty red. Hear him chatter with his flock. The notes they sing sound quite alike. What is that small bird we hear and see? What's its name? It's a house Sparrow, found by you and me. Now here's one I love, and it's supposed to be a symbol of happiness or joy. It's called, I'm not going to tell you till the end. Quick, I see a very tiny bird. Do you see it too? His head is flashing red in the bright sunlight. His small green body shimmers and shines. See the long bill. That's so he can get the nectar out of the flowers. Watch, he whirs from flower to flower, up and down and sideways. Hovering now, he laps up bugs with his long tongue, plus the nectar and the small spiders. Ew, I don't want to eat those, do you? Listen to his scratchy voice and buzzy humming wings. He goes almost 1,000 beats of his wings per minute as he chases other birds away. What is this tiny one we see? It's called a hummingbird. Ah, I like this one. He's sweet. And Anna's hummingbirds near you and me. Quick, I see a large bird. Let's see if we can see it better. There we go. There's a large bird. See it? Do you see it too? It walks with a bobbing head and jerky steps upon the ground. Watch it pick up food, both seeds and grains. With its beak, it can pick up seeds and grains. See, this bird is mostly gray. Its pointed tail in flight shows tips of white. There it is. Narrow wings are pointed too and dusted with a few black spots. Hear that sad, mournful coo. Coo, coo, coo. Listen to the whirring wings when it's lifting off the ground or from a higher perch. They come up from high. What slender large bird do we hear and see? A mourning dove was found by you and me. Just going to stop there for a minute and tell you the doves come in pairs. Are called love doves. You know, the two doves together, and they have a very soft sound. And you will find them near your house. And if you're lucky, they will come fly from far away and stay there and make their home. So I want to do another thing for you. So I'm going to take it off for a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I wanted to show you a real bird whistle that's made by the Audubon Society. And it's this whistle that's supposed to sound like a songbird. So I'm going to play it. And it's made out of birch wood and some metal. And inside is a little bit of rosin, like what we use for a violin, to make the strings a little sticky, but not too sticky. And it comes from a tree. So here it is. Can you hear it? Are you ready? Here we go. Sounds like a songbird. And it will attract different birds if you take this outside and play it. So you can order it through the Audubon Society. Close your eyes, see if it sounds like a real bird. Doesn't it? I think it's so cool. Ready? Close your eyes again. Listen, I'm going to do it a little differently. Fun. Isn't that cool? So this is the sound of a songbird. Can you say songbird? So the words we've learned today, the parts of the bird, the bill or the beak, and then a spoonbill is one kind of bird. We have nests that they've made, and we used tweezers to make the nest. And we used all kinds of natural things to make the nest. One of the things besides sticks was lint. So lint comes from a dryer. And now we're going to do some math with you. Are you ready? Oh, would you like a story? I have a very pretty story. I want to tell you a story about the kingdom of the singing birds. It's one of my favorite stories. I'm not going to read the whole thing word by word, but I want you to get the idea. Because once upon a time, there was a place where the birds did not sing, and it was so sad. No singing birds. So the king said, I need to find out why. Excuse me. There's no singing birds. So he wondered, well, how am I going to find them? He called the wisest man who knew how to talk to animals pretty much. He noticed stones that were special that no one else noticed. He discovered the first spring flowers in their hiding places. And he observed birds nesting way up in the mountains where the other villagers were too lazy or busy to climb. He was always asking questions, Zusia. Why do things fall down instead of up? Why does the sun go away? And where does it go when it sets? And what's beyond the moon and the stars? The more Zusia asked, the more he learned, and he grew very wise in the ways of nature. Zusia's neighbors would come to him for advice. If their cows didn't give milk, he would say what to do. Or if their fruit didn't come off their tree, trees didn't grow fruit, he would give them advice too. Now it happened, as I said, that there was a king who ruled Zusia's country. And the father and the former king and the grandfather, the old king, had collected birds from all over the world. Booby and cuckoo, quetzal and coot, cockatoo, bobolink, parakeet, goose, dicky bird, chickadee, curlew and crane, widgeon and pigeon and bluebird and jay, all the kinds of birds you could find. They were beautiful, but they did not sing. Oh, the king was sad. He loved birds as much as for their music as for their beauty. He asked his advisors, how can I make them sing? Give them treats, said one. He gave them the best berries he could find, crunchiest seeds and the sweetest mountain water in the land. The birds ate and drank, but they did not sing. Build them a bigger, fancier house, said another. So he ordered his craftsmen to make an aviary, which is a home for birds, and build it 10 times larger and 20 times wider, and decorate it with silver and jewels. Look how pretty. But still they flew higher and further, but did not sing. Find them a mate. So the king sent his bird catchers everywhere, even up to the mountains. The new birds were as silent as the old. I will give a barrel of gold to anyone who can help me get my birds to sing, proclaimed the ruler. And all over from the whole country, people came to try to help him. Magicians did tricks for the birds. Acrobats tumbled and clowns stumbled. Jugglers juggled and fiddlers fiddled. A witch even cast a spell. But the birds remained silent. My birds will never sing, said the king. As it was in my father's time and my grandfather's time, so it shall be in mine. One day, one of the palace musicians said, I've heard that in a village near my own lives a gentle rabbi named Zusia, wise in the ways of nature. He once got a farmer's hen to lay her eggs even after everyone had given up. Perhaps he could get your birds to sing. So they called for Zusia. They sent their servants to go to the mountains to meet the man who was so gentle with the animals. Zusia was excited and a little scared to meet the king. He had never been far from home. What could he tell us? What could he, a simple man from a small village, tell a king? Then he remembered. Although I haven't traveled far from my village, I've traveled a lot inside it. I know what I know. Even a king can't know everything. Besides, if a king summons a man who is wise, goes. A summons means to call somebody to come to you. So Zusia journeyed many days and nights. He followed the king's men across the rivers, through forests, and high up into the mountains. Finally, they reached the palace. It was even more magnificent than Zusia could imagine. And the royal aviary, Zusia had never seen so many kinds of birds. Tree birds and seabirds, red, green, and blue, shorebirds and snowbirds, so lovely to view. From India, Arabia, the wide world around, a rainbow of colors, but alas, not a sound. Such glorious birds, but not a chirp or a peep. Zusia thought about the birds that sang in his village and up in the mountains and all along his journey. There was something he must tell the king, even if it made him angry. Come closer, Zusia, beckoned the king. Come closer. I have been told that you are wise. Can you make my birds sing? Your Majesty, began Zusia. You won't like what I have to say. Say it anyway, demanded the king. Your Majesty, if you want the birds to sing, you must let them go free. What? Free my birds? Impossible, roared the king. My birds are my treasure. My father and his father and his father always kept birds. And did their birds sing? Asked Zusia. No, but you are king now, said Zusia. You must do things your way. But my way is their way. Then your birds will be like theirs. Silent. The king yearned to hear his birds sing, but he was afraid of losing them. He looks very concerned. What if they all fly away? He was worried. He walked around and around the aviary looking at his lovely silent birds. What should he do? He opened the aviary a bit. One tiny bird flew out and perched in a tree. For the very first time, the king heard it sing. Listen, Zusia, he exclaimed. Listen to the bird. The king opened the door a little bit wider. A few more birds flew out, and they too began to sing. He gathered a few feathers that had fallen to the ground. To remember my beautiful birds, he said sadly to Zusia. Then the king opened the aviary all the way. When all the birds were free, the palace was filled with singing, lovelier than any music he or his father's father had ever heard. The king looked up at the sky in all directions, as far as he could see. My birds, he cried, my precious birds. Eagle and egret, linnet and loon, sparrow, canary, cardinal, tern, oriole, whippoorwill, nightingale, gull, raven and falcon, plover and dove. Now we saw a dove, remember? Some birds flew away, but some birds stayed. And when birds in other countries heard about the king who let his birds go free, what do you think they did? They came to settle in his kingdom. In time, there were so many birds and so much singing that the country became known as the kingdom of the singing bird. Oh, look how happy Zusia was. And Zusia, he used his reward wisely to help the poor people in his village. He was invited often to the palace as the king's special advisor. And whenever Zusia visited, he traveled a different road. So he could see new places and learn new things along the way. And that is a beautiful story by Miriam Aroner and Shelley O. Haas called The Kingdom of the Singing Birds. I wasn't going to read it word by word, but it was so nice. So what do you say? Let's do the math next time, and let's do our music and say goodbye. And I had such a nice time. Are you ready? Here we go. Now it's time to say goodbye. If you are sad, it's okay to cry. Let's sing everybody's names, and then we'll sing more songs with me. Bye to the children, bye to the grown-ups. Bye, teacher Chaia, that rhymes with papaya. Bye to teacher Michelle and teacher Leck, teacher Bessie, and all the other stuff. All right, let's sing our song with our pa-pa-pa. Pa-pa-pa, pa-pa-pa-pa-pa, pa-pa-pa-pa-pa, pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa. Very nice, you children. I hope you will go outside. And now that it's springtime, I hope you will look for all the birds you can see and take a little piece of paper and you can color their colors on the paper. And maybe you take your phone or your parents' phone and make a sound recording of their song, because they're always different and they're always singing about something. So you'll get a lot of chances right now in the spring to make some recordings of some beautiful birds. I know people who don't even listen to music because they like birds so much, they just listen to the birds. So have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.